Good morning, everyone. Thank you for spending your time on a weekend. Welcome to the application guidance session for the Neurodiversity School in Tokyo, NSIT. Please know that we will be recording this session for those who could not attend today. I'm Harumi Kachi, the Executive Director of Neurodiversity NPO, which operates the NSIT. We are thrilled to share our challenge with you today. Our challenge is rooted in our belief that our practices will become a catalyst for educational, societal, and cultural change, in that we will create a new standard for the future environment for children. As Neurodiversity NPO, while running the NSIT school as a pilot, we'll be holding events, providing workshops and therapies, establishing membership with those who share our vision. The school is dedicated to embracing every child's excellence, value, and potential, creating an environment where differences are totally celebrated. This morning, our Representative Director, Joy Ito, will share with you our mission and challenge. The school director, Shiori Egawa, will explain the overview of our plans. Shiori and Colette Ryan, our Floortime Supervisor, will share the NSIT approach. Then I will explain the application process. First, let me introduce our co-founders. Joy Ito, the president of Chiba Institute of Technology. Rizuki Matsumoto, president of Machino Hoikuen Community School and director of Machino Research Institute. I'd like to welcome Joy, who will talk about our mission and challenge. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Harumi. So I'm Joey, and I'll kick off by talking a little bit about why we're here and what we're doing. I lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts for quite a while, and I worked with a lot of autistic students and with a community of people. And I had a daughter who was diagnosed, I think she was 2.5 or 3, diagnosed as autistic. And I started down a path as a parent of an autistic daughter, looking for what I thought would be the most supportive environment for her. And when I was looking, there were many therapy types, and I had my own views on learning from my time as an educator. And I ended up with DIR Floortime as the method that I found to be the most suitable for our daughter, at least. And I think the key thing for me about Floortime was that it really focused on the developmental part and the emotional part of the child, rather than really trying to focus too much on the behavior. And I think Colette will talk more about DIR Floortime, but in a nutshell, I think historically we have taken therapy methods that tried to get autistic kids and other kids to behave as normally as possible, and to try to meet a standardized ideal of what a kid should be. But I think both from the self-advocacy movement of neurodiversity in the US, as well as the sort of science around how kids would best develop, it turns out that instead of, when you try to focus too much on adapting people's behavior, you don't get the development that is best for the kids. So I think there are many statistics, but something around 40+%, 47% of autistic kids try to commit suicide. And I think this is, often attributed to the fact that they end up getting trained to behave normally, but they haven't developed emotionally, and those behaviors aren't linked to the motivations that are appropriate for those behaviors. So Floortime is really about trying to meet the kid where they are, make them develop as best as possible, and that you try to unlock the child's desire to learn, rather than start with learning skills as a primary goal. And so when I moved to Japan in 2021 and I looked around, we found no Floortime. And we found Reggio, which we really liked as a progressive school system. And I decided that the best way to create an environment for our own little daughter was to try to put a team together and work on a school together. So the school is my participation in the school originally started with creating an environment for my own daughter. But I realized that in Japan, there's two things. I think there's the neurodiversity as a thing is a growing movement in the US, but is really still quite early in Japan. Japan's very segregates people with disabilities and really is in the mode of trying to look at the deficits of people and try to augment the deficits. And I think that what's really important in education is so deficit-oriented education is, even for neurotypical kids, is look at their weaknesses and try to make them stronger as the primary goal. And if somebody is excited about something or interested in something, you don't do much of that because you don't need to do that. So you're really trying to standardize the child. But I think with advanced technologies and AI and where society is going, of course, you need to help people along with their deficits, but really amplifying their assets. What are they excited about? What does the kid really want to do? And meeting the child where they are, rather than kind of stifling the child's interests and focusing on their deficits. And I think Reggio does a very good job of that, and it fits very well with the approach of the IR Floortime. So the goal, I think, of the school is to be a pilot, a prototype of bringing two really interesting methods that have never worked together, DIR Floortime and Reggio, and also trying to bring together a community of kids as well as parents who want to build this new program together, start the neurodiversity movement in Japan, and try to create an example that many other schools and communities can hopefully learn from, not just in the US, but elsewhere in the world. So we're really looking for people who want to join the movement, not just the school. So I know some of you here might be prospective parents, but I also, we do events, we do seminars, we're going to do after school, we're going to do volunteer activities. So there's a whole bunch of activities as a nonprofit, in addition to just running the school, that we'd love you to be engaged in. So I'll stop here and pass it back to Harumi, and happy to answer questions later. Thanks.
Thank
Hey,
you.
good morning, everyone. Oh, sorry, Harumi.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
Oh, sure.
let me- Now I'd like to introduce our school director, Shiori, who will give you an overview of the school.
Thank you for that, Harumi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shiori Egawa, and I'll be the school director of this NSIT school. So I'll start with the school overview, and after that, Colette and I will talk about the school approach. Okay, so just briefly, again, this is a Neurodiversity school in Tokyo, and it is operated by the Neurodiversity NPO nonprofit. We are opening on September 1st, 2024 this year at Minami Aoyama inside the Pola Aoyama building. Will be located on the 5th floor. And the target age we're aiming is ages between 3 to 12. And operating hours will be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with the option available for extended care until 6 p.m. The school capacity is 15 students, and within our teaching and learning team, we have myself, school director, the teachers, childcare workers, therapists, coordinators, atelierista, which is Reggio term to kind of define the teaching artists, and pedagogical partners and other specialized staff. We also have partners, ICDL, the Floortime team, and the Machino Research Institute. In terms of access and the location, just to give you a little more detail, we will be inside this Pola Aoyama building. And downstairs, we also have our Machino Hoikuen, the nursery school, where we also have plans to have close relationships and collaboration We also will be sharing the outdoor space with the nursery school. It is 2 minutes walk from Aoyama Ichome Station if you are taking the metro, or 5 minutes walk from the Gaenmai Station. A little bit about the interior design. We are currently under construction, so we won't be able to share the actual image, but these are the images that we are working closely with the design team, who's familiar with designing the spaces for children with differences and different capacities. So inside the space, we will have various spaces that accommodate different capacities. We are looking into creating space where that is sensory and accommodate different physical and emotional needs. We're looking into putting comfortable materials as well as things that stimulate physically and emotionally to continue, like to create the motivation to continue to learn. We are also looking into the visibility. So for the entire space, you do see kind of a division to zone the spaces. However, the flow of the learning will be very fluid and flexible. So children will be able to make choices on their own and with our support to explore different areas. With the Reggio approach, we will be providing ample materials and resources for children to choose and navigate their learning. And it will be also, sorry, one last thing, it will be also designed in a way that is artistic and artistically stimulating, just to promote more inspiration and different perspective for students to learn different areas and get more stimulation from the environment. Okay, so Colette and I will move on to our NSIT approach. So what is NSIT approach? Joey in the beginning mentioned the two approaches that we'll be employing, which are the DIR Floortime as well as the Reggio Emilia approach. So we adopt a method called contextual learning, which has 4 key features. And the first thing I want to share is that the paths are not predetermined, but are created based on various events. And we believe that there's no one fixed or pre-established route that individuals must follow. And instead, the direction they take is influenced by different circumstances, different experiences, and choices that people encounter along the way. And with that, I want to make this a little more interactive, and I hope you get to participate a little bit by using the chat box feature below. And I want you to think about something you can see in the sky. I'm going to say it one more time. Something you can see in the sky. So please jot down something you like literally see in the sky right now, or something that you recall. I see you all looking through the window. Something that maybe you recall from your memory or from your experience, or it can be something as a metaphor that you see in the sky. So you can start jotting down whatever, one word, sentences, anything. There's no right or wrong answer. Thank you, Colette, for starting this off. And the reason I'm giving this prompt is really for us to enter this contextual learning in firsthand and see how this community already has different ways of thinking, different ways of learning, and different experiences that shaped who we are now. So you can also scroll down. I hope I have time to go through this comment box, but you can also explore what others are thinking and see how diverse this learning experience is. Second approach, the key feature is that we emphasize on interaction and participation with others, and learning is shaped through dialogue with the environments and surrounding children. Children develop the ability to think and interpret actively through an exploratory process of encountering the world and making meaning of the world around them. So I want to highlight there's a difference between learning space and learning place. As NSIT school, we are providing this space, the facility where people can come together and explore themselves in the world. However, we need them to start making meanings through the interaction to make it a place. So this is where we want to work as a team to create this NSIT. In the beginning, it might be just a space, but over time, with the relationship we build, the learning we do, and start making meanings to this space, we want to turn into a place. And finally, with the Reggio-inspired approach, we believe that children possess 100 languages of thinking, ideas, and expressions. We nurture creativity through encounters with all kinds of expressions. So a contextual curriculum aims to make learning more engaging, more meaningful, and applicable to students' lives, which ultimately promote deeper understanding and discovery. So we're going to move on to the next part where we will dive deep into the DRI Floortime and the Reggio Emilia approach, which are our two main approaches we put in practice. So I'm going to pass this to Colette first, and she'll be talking us about the DRI Floortime.
Thanks, Shiori. Hi, everyone. I'm Colette Ryan. I've been a Floortimer for almost 28 years. I was able to learn about Floortime from Dr. Greenspan and Dr. Weeder, who were the individuals who initiated this model and developed it. The D and the I and the R in DIR Floortime represent really important things that we know about learners. The first is the D, development. We have to think about where that individual is developmentally. So instead of looking at the age, we're going to be looking at where that individual is developmentally. And then we're going to be able to support them up the developmental ladder to new learning and new experiences. The I represents individual differences, which we all have. We all have individual differences. Some of us like merry-go-rounds and some don't. Some of us really like spicy food and others don't. And those are individual differences. As a Floortimer, I keep those in mind when I'm interacting with an individual. That way I can attune myself to exactly what they need from me. And then the R is for relationships. And if the D tells me where to start, the I tells me how to start, the R tells me why. Why do I want to start having an interaction with an individual? Floortime is very strength-based. We know that vulnerabilities are there, but we're going to look more at the strengths of the individual. And when we think about that contextual learning, we're going to be able to use the strengths the individual has to support them in learning through those contextual learning experiences. So if an individual like Mark Bennett really likes bees, well, then we're going to do counting with bees. We're going to do reading with bees. We're going to do social experiments with bees and really get into this great topic of bees because that's what the individual is excited about. As a Floortimer, I have to think about 3 different things when I think about our new school. I think about the child and what we're going to be able to do for the children in this community. But then on top of that, I'm going to think about the families and what we can do for you as families. And then the third hand that goes on is the community. How can we support the community in understanding neurodiversities in a deeper, richer way? We do all of these things that we're talking about as floor timers with affect. You may notice that my affect is really high, and I use my affect depending on what the individual that I'm with needs from me. So when you come to visit the Neurodiversity School in Tokyo, you probably are going to see a lot of different kinds of affects, and each one of them is attuned to the children that we're seeing.
Thank you, Colette, for sharing about the DI floor time. So with that, the second approach is the Reggio Emilia approach. I think as I explained this, you're gonna find many similar elements as Colette just mentioned. With Reggio, its characteristics of collaboration and creativity, the education in Reggio is defined as a right of all children and as well as a responsibility of the community. We believe that children are rich in possibilities, competent, strong, and capable of living with others. We also believe that all children participate as citizens of this world, and they possess intention, thoughts, and ideas that should be honored and respected. So similar to DRR floor time, children lead the learning, and they are given ample autonomy and agency to navigate the direct and indirect communities and to design their own learning journey with carefully curated environment and relationship that is scaffolded by the teaching team, as well as all the other stakeholders involved in the community, including families, the community members, and so on. So with that, we want to share the core qualities that NSIT holds with the next slide. And we want to keep asking ourselves the 4 questions for the learning path. Who am I? How do I express myself? How do I know the world? And what does it mean to live together? The first one is children learn to be. They learn to express one's uniqueness in a diverse world and live a better life, and to understand oneself and to learn how one exists. And how do I express myself? With that question, children learn to do. They learn to embrace encounters with the world with the joy and curiosity, using every part of their body, including hands, feet, head, and heart, to engage, express, and explore. The third question is, how do I know the world? And this part, children learn to know. They keenly observe and explore various fields such as nature, science, culture, history, and art, experiencing through hands-on activities, utilizing the 5 senses, savoring, and deeply understanding. And finally, what does it mean to live together? They learn to live together, and we live in a social world. Human beings are, inherently social creatures, and our interaction with others play a fundamental role. Like Colette mentioned, the relationship building is really the key in shaping our identities, beliefs, and behaviors. So from the moment we are born, we begin to engage with the people around us and forming bonds with family members, friends, communities, and beyond human beings, we also build relationship with the environment, the materials, the nature. So children learn to know and comprehend diversity, engage dialogically with the elements of society, objects, people, and peers, generating meaning and relationships. So these core qualities guide our daily efforts to create an environment where every child has sense of belonging and is motivated to pursue their learning journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiori. Now I'd like to move on to explaining the admission process. We are welcoming up to 15 students of age 3 to 9 at the time of enrollment. And we are welcoming children and families who fully understand and support our vision of creating a new culture and celebrating together the differences and are committed to nurturing children together with the school. Please look at our website for all other information. All the details are up there. We are in the second application round now, and with the deadline of June 19th, Wednesday, as the second application deadline. This is the tuition fee, and for this, please look at our website again. And we ask for donation. Creating a new standard faces difficulties fitting into the conventional frameworks for public support. And at the same time, we need adequate staffing and infrastructure. And this makes our school operating expenses higher than normal. And we would really, really appreciate your support. We can move on to the closing remarks by Joey.
Yeah, I think we've basically covered most of the things that we want to talk about, but we will have offline events and have more sessions, and so please join. Please tell other people about our school. Are we going to have an email or something that people can reach out to? Maybe we can post it. But please, if you have any other questions or want to meet us, let us know. Yeah, there we go. And and again, I think as we mentioned, we are trying to build a community, and we would really like the parents to be as involved as possible. And again, we're charting new ground. I think both the Reggio people and the Floortime people are excited about what comes out of this experiment, because it's the first interaction we've done. So I think part of it is we're trying to build something new, but we want to build it together with parents. And also, I think broadly, but especially in Japan, I think it's challenging to be the parent of a neurodiverse kid. And I think that supporting the parents and the other caregivers is another part of the endeavor. So it's not just a place where you drop off your kids. I think it's something that the parents can join us for support. And I think Colette mentioned this, but and it's not just support on learning, but I think also just support as members of a community. So we want the parents and the extended families of all of the kids to be part of this journey. And I hope that we can set an example that changes Japan more broadly. And so we look forward to having you join us on this kind of mission-oriented journey. Thank you.
Harumi, we have 2 additional questions.
Yes.
If that's okay for me to answer.
How should we commute to the school?
Yes, so we have 2 metro stations nearby that is walking distance. Throughout the interview with other families, some said that they will be commuting by bicycle. Some said they might have to take a car. And we do have a coin parking near the building. So you'll have to park the car and then bring the children to our school where we welcome them. So these are some of the options. And the second question is, can we use the school partially, like 3 days a week? This has been asked by many other families. Our response to that is we highly encourage that that the child is with us full time, 5 days a week, and for many reasons, but mainly really going back to the relationship building. We really want to have this ample time to build a relationship for the children to feel psychologically safe and physically stimulated to learn with us. And again, we are approaching this unique school curriculum and the learning. So this might look very different if you are taking a child to another learning setting that could potentially cause confusion or might have this transition quite difficult for the children and the families as well. So it will be the best if we could have 5 days a week with the children and the families to really observe, build this connection, relationship, and learn together.
And,
You
and I
shared.
also want us to think about the fact that it is it seems like it's a long day, doesn't it? You know, when we're thinking about 9 to 4. But what I wanted to mention was that for many of the children that are coming to the school, they're not going to know they're in school because we're going to be basing everything on play and interactions. And for them, it's going to be more less stressful and more fun. They're not going to know they're learning, in other words. So it might sound like a very long day and many days of the week, but I think they're going to realize how much fun it is to learn.
Thank you, Colette. And there's another question. Will you have a mailing list or another online group for those who are interested in spreading neurodiversity movement in Japan? Yes, no, by attending this session, you are already in our mailing list, I think. And please contact info at our admin office if you are interested in knowing more. We will make sure to put you in loop. And with that, I should probably announce our next event, which will be held in Japanese next time with the other co-founder, Rizuki Matsumoto. In addition to elaborating more on NSIT approach, he will share with you the global trend in children's learning and development. And we hope that you will join our challenge to redefine education, neurodiversity, and to make our society a better place. Thank you so much for spending your time, and see you soon.